I'm Douglas Horton. I'm the Artistic Director of ChamberMade Opera, and we're a contemporary opera and music theatre company. We're based in Melbourne, Australia. This is our first time to Groningen, to Holland, but Phobia has been going now for 2 years. We actually premiered at the end of 2003 in Melbourne, and I did a regional tour around the state of Victoria, and then last year we did a tour to the Sydney Festival, and then this year we've been all around Australia with the show. We've been to all the capital cities, and now we've taken it overseas. We've brought it to the Szeged Festival, which was a very interesting experience. We had Nick Cave playing in the tent near us, and Phobia is a very delicate piece sound-wise, so we're very glad to be here because this is a much quieter festival. There's a much more focus on the work. Phobia is based on a film by Alfred Hitchcock called Vertigo. But in our production of Phobia, we're looking at the whole business of making film from the point of view of sound. In the 1950s, there's a guy called Jack Foley who did all the sound effects in films all over Hollywood. And anyone who started doing sound effects was a sound effects artist, became known as a Foley artist. I can say about Phobia is it's not an opera, and certainly not in any traditional sense. The company commissions writers and composers, but we're looking at the way that they come together to create new forms of theatre, and it's not necessarily about singing. Occasionally we have operas that are more traditionally based, but it is new music. And in the case of Phobia, there's virtually no singing at all. It's all dialogue, acting, music making, sound effects, there's some physical theatre in it.
What to do. She refuses to see a doctor. I don't want to have her certified, or if I do, by God, only when I know I have no other choice.
What makes the piece interesting is it's quite seamless. There's no kind of sudden changes. One thing becomes another, and it's constantly dovetailing from one format to the other in the piece. Of course, normally when people are making sound for film or for television, they're editing and cutting it, whereas in this situation, it's happening all the way through.
She's here. I bring her hot soup. She nearly went in front of train. Yeah, was moving. Don't worry, she's going to be fine. You heard what? Who? Hochtenberg was a great grand. She what? Suicide?
Everything Santa told me was a lie, a cover-up. He killed his wife. He was just using me to fake this whole story about her being mad and committing suicide. She was rich and he had everything to gain.
Well, as for myself and phobias, I suppose I did develop a phobia while we were in Hungary, and it's to do with performing a show during a rock concert. The piece is it's all about sound, and sometimes the sounds in the show are very delicate, and we had Nick Cave playing next door. And I think now if we're invited to a rock concert venue to put on a show, I now become extremely anxious.
Hydrating cheer formula.
It's her. You've made me dress exactly like her. Her clothes, her hair, her makeup. I can't stand it.